The science of yoga is among the most humanitarian and life-affirming traditions to have ever graced mankind with its presence. Yoga empowers each individual to transcend his or her own self-imposed limitations, negative thought patterns, and cultural conditionings, allowing you to reveal your unique greatness invested in you by nature. Yoga directly addresses the issue of how to achieve a very deep level of personal freedom, to become self-aware of your role as a co-creator in the sacred dance which unfolds the universe. Everything in yoga has a specific and direct objective: to de-hypnotize you and remove all unfulfilling conditionings and limiting factors from your life. These conditionings are mental fabrications called chitta vrittis in the Yoga Sutras. Anywhere that we do not have a full range of free expression in our lives is a result of a conditioning. Physical stiffness is a conditioning. Mental rigidity is a conditioning. Social norms and expectations are a conditioning. Religious and academic institutionalization is a conditioning. Yoga is the process of identifying and transcending these limitations, allowing you to experience your innate personal power, to embrace your unique traits in nature, and express your natural creative talents to their fullest potential. The threefold yogic process involves the following. 1. Self-awareness and the identification of a limiting factor or mental conditioning. 2. Discovery of the antidote to that limiting factor. It need not only be from the group of practices traditionally held as yogic. Anything that allows you to transcend a limitation can be considered yogic from this perspective. 3. Application of the antidote, the refining and mastery of the solution, and the acquisition of excellence. Everything we do at Tripura Yoga is meant to transcend the limitations of free expression at one of the 5 levels of our being. On the physical level, we have asanas, the postures, to achieve balance, transcend physical stiffness, and attain full range of motion throughout the body. Bhakti Yoga and the yoga breathing techniques are for the second level, the energy body, which is characterized by the vitality within the breath and emotions. The breathing techniques allow us to manage the raw energy of emotion and to balance our mental and vital forces within the subtle body. Dynamic meditations and karma yoga address the mental conditionings at the 3rd level, which is the mind. Yoga nidra, symbolism, ritual, and tantric meditation address the 4th level of our being, the psyche. And the 5th level of our being, which is the spirit, can only be accessed through mantra and direct self-recognition. Anywhere that we are limited in life, yoga helps us attain freedom. That is the direct and attainable objective of yoga. And with this in mind, yoga takes on a very new meaning and specific role in our lives. We can use the various practices with a particular aim: to become self-aware, discover a method for transcending any of the limitations on one of the 5 levels of our being, and perfect that method towards spiritual liberation, so that we can express our creative nature more fully and interact with the world in a more meaningful and fulfilling manner. Yoga can even show us the way out of the tangled web of illusion and the mental fabrications we use to construct our map of the world, so that we too can have an experience of the universal vision of something outside the prison of our own minds. Yoga and tantric meditations allow you to experience the eternal and intrinsic qualities of the universe, of all energy and consciousness, which is of the nature of truth, effulgence, and beauty. Although the mind is the only barrier, there is no doubt that we need a mind, and no one wants to be mindless. One must learn to harness and direct the mind to fully embrace the heart with radical self-acceptance of one's inner natures, while undoing all the limiting beliefs, social conditionings, and models of reality imposed on us by society. We simultaneously also want to uncover our unique personal nature, the strengths, qualities, and talents endowed to us by Prakriti, Mother Nature. By relearning how to breathe and managing our thoughts and emotions to express the qualities of the heart, we can totally let go of all limiting thought patterns and allow ourselves to really fall in love with ourselves over and over again. Everybody has individual personal qualities and strengths nature has afforded them as a means for thriving in their environment, not only surviving. Mother Nature is not primarily interested in only survival. She's interested in seeing each and every form of life thrive in a playful expression of the effulgent beauty of that true bliss that saturates the universe. One may wonder, if this is our nature, why doesn't each person live in an unbroken deep inner awareness of bliss and ecstasy as the universe naturally unfolds itself? The learned belief structures, behavior patterns, habitual responses, mundane thoughts, and cultural conditionings each one of us use to filter our experiences sever us from experiencing the true nature of the universe and the latent bliss within every moment. These mental fabrications is what Patanjali was trying to make us aware of when he used the words Chitta Vritti in the second sutra of the Yoga Sutras. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is the process for blocking the modifications of the mind. These mental modifications are the way that we use our thoughts and our natural creative capacities to manifest our realities, as we either choose to embrace our nature, become one with ourselves, and move through the world in a way that is congruent with our inner vision, or fight with ourselves and create a split in our personalities, causing an immense amount of time and vitality to be wasted on inner tensions and turmoil that only exist within the mind. Society teaches us to be powerless, reactive, and schizophrenic because it teaches that there are still certain aspects of human nature that need to be suppressed. Until our societies completely embrace human nature and empower the individual person towards autonomy and self-actualization, humanity has yet to emerge. We still live in the dark ages of humanity. Rather than encouraging self-discovery, our children are forced to comply with a set of social norms and expectations that stunt and then cripple the unique, creative self-expression of each individual. By the time we are each 2 years old, most of us have all been conditioned to be hypnotized throughout the rest of our lives, sleepwalking in a single file line, waiting for death to call our number. However, we were not wired to suffer or experience a mundane life. Pain is a physical sensation only. The mind creates suffering when it is in an untrained mode, characterized by ignorance of its own creative power, natural potential, and awareness of bliss. A tree grows towards the light because it is following its nature. Nature's way is always as an expression of the incomparable beauty latent in the universe. The way each person's mind behaves is their nature, and it is beautiful. We must befriend the mind and end the war of self-criticism within. You are not a sinner, and you are not a saint. You are not good, you are not bad, and you are not a combination of the two. You are simply spirit having a human experience here on planet Earth to express your individual nature. We all have desires, urges, and drives that were generously invested in us by nature to be co-creators in this ecstatic universal dance of self-expression called life. There's an old Irish saying, dance like no one's looking, but I say dance like everyone's looking and you really don't care. You are 100% confident and self-assured because you understand that it is not you dancing, it's Prakriti, the intelligence of nature, expressing the beauty of the universe through you. You are already perfect. You don't have to gain anything, only lose the ignorance of your greatness so that you can embrace the unique and distinct strengths for expressing the beauty of life through the form of your current incarnation. Yes, you do not die when this body dies, but but you do lose the chance to ever again enjoy this particular combination of genetics and the unique expression of life that you now embody. Use your thoughts to manifest the destiny that is congruent with your personal nature. Use your goddess-given traits to express your individuality and enjoy abundance as you thrive. To thrive is your nature, and this is the purpose between all your unique traits and characteristics. Dismiss herd mentality, fear-based thinking, and fall in love with yourself. Group thinking never fosters originality. By following the bliss in your heart and expressing yourself without any inhibitions, you'll be living in joy and enjoying greater abundance of every type in your life. Embrace your human nature. Your soul didn't come on this ride to sit in the back seat and let society drive. You can reclaim control of your life at any moment and get back on track to realizing your fullest potential in every arena of life. Nature has given you everything you need to fully blossom, but are you choosing to grow towards the light? Or are you allowing negative programming to keep you just below the canopy of the other blossoming flowers because it's safe and comfortable? Fortunately, you don't have to worry about any of that ever again. Once you've implemented the yogic process to identify the solution and begin putting it into practice, you can then remain positive. Focus on your strengths and allow the process of evolution to unfold itself through you. Spend your thoughts wisely. Create a reality that empowers you to continue soaring to greater and even greater heights. Utilize the ancient practices of yoga and tantra, such as those available at Tripura Yoga, to claim your birthright as the supreme bliss of the universe and the sovereign cause of your life. It is worth understanding that we can never be vritti-less. We cannot function on this dimension without some modifications of the mind. Even when meditators have a universal experience of samadhi or nirvana, when they come back, they again take up a new vritti, called the Brahma vritti, in which you see God as everyone, and live in constant, unbroken awareness of the intoxicating bliss within everything. So do not fight with your mind. Do not merely tolerate or accept yourself either, but really celebrate yourself as a perfectly unique expression of nature, a flowering of the divine universal consciousness in a physically manifested state of incomparable brilliance. You are the miracle of life. Self-aware consciousness itself is divine, as it is through us that the universe comprehends and experiences itself. The God and Goddess, Shiva and Shakti, consciousness and energy, are both experiencing themselves through us, as us. We are their ecstasy. The bliss of lovers does not only exist during intercourse, but within each breath. Every interaction between the sense organs and their objects, each and every moment is suffused with immaculate bliss. The sacred tremor within the nucleus of every atom of the universe is itself orgasmic bliss. Bliss is both intrinsic and extrinsic. It penetrates and saturates the entire universe. This is why it is so easy to overlook. A fish has no concept of being wet. It lives its whole life submersed in water. Similarly, we always experience the pure atmic bliss of being in each and every moment. We only have to become aware of it. In one very real sense, a child playing make-believe alone outdoors is more alive and in tune with reality than the world of adults around him. He is using his creative faculties to manifest a reality that is most exciting and fulfilling to him. And on one level, he is always aware that he is only playing a role and that his thought forms are only make-believe. Meanwhile, everyone else uses their minds to create a mundane model of reality, willfully experiencing suffering and misery, and then delusionally believing it all to actually be true. Children do not need help to grow up. Grown-ups need help to be reminded of what it is like to be a child again. Children only need support and encouragement so that their natural strengths can grow and flourish. They need a safe environment that encourages self-growth. A farmer does not force his plants to grow. If he tries to get too involved, he will only destroy the seedling. He can only maintain the right environment for growth to occur, and nature takes care of the rest. But when we try to interfere with one another and force our ways, our paradigms, our conditionings, fears, expectations, and delusions on one another, only then does that interference have an outside influence, and it's always an ugly one. You may use your wire frames and trimmers to manipulate a plant to look like an animal, but this is always ugly in comparison to a random, unexpected wildflower blossoming and revealing its nature. Such beauty no human hand can recreate. Similarly, your natural traits that nobody had to teach you are always your most beautiful. Those who try to prune you seek to limit and restrict you. Real friendships are those that embrace each other's rough edges, celebrate one another's wild sides, and encourage an uninhibited free flow of creative self-expression in every situation.